Hey, people! We are back. We have come back from the future. And I am one of your hosts, Mike, and my other host.
And we are back. I'm Nick D'Angeli. It's wonderful to be back after quite some time. Now we're
Mhm.
here and we're going to be sending out episodes all the time now.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Unfortunately, life does get in the way.
It does. Last year we were pretty productive. We were able to
Yeah,
get some
yeah, I'd say so.
three amazing episodes out. So we've been doing like
Hmm.
at least one episode a year.
Yeah, that's gonna change hopefully. So those of you who are still subscribed to the channel, first of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and we're gonna do better. That is a soft promise.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. We're going to do our best to try to get these episodes out. We have a bunch of content that we're wanting to review, we're wanting to talk about, and we're wanting to bring on some special guests onto the show.
Yeah, so
Let's get into
um we have exciting plans for this channel. What enough of apologies once again. But anyways, we are here for Boba Fett.
it. Oh, man.
So, episode 1. What did you think?
You know, I honestly don't quite get why people are hating on this show. I don't know. I've been seeing mixed reviews,
Mm.
and personally, I've been really enjoying it. The first, there's already so much that you kind of have to show it. I'm glad that they made canon of how you know Boba,
Yeah.
because I know that was in talks of when he showed up in the Mandalorian. Spoiler alert: the way he left, people weren't sure if it was going to be like legit or not, and like leaving the Starlight Pig, or if it's going to be just like totally rebooted. Since sometimes they're doing that in Star Wars nowadays. But no, man, I didn't mind it. I really didn't mind it. There's certain things, of course, but I love the flashback sequences. I don't know, something about it. It's just it's nice to have something that's you know kind of on a smaller scale, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Non-linear story time has just become a new standard today, and flashbacks, it's a great way to show instead of just say, this is this person, this is who he is, this is what he does, and oh my god, shut up, show me,
Mm,
don't tell me. I could kind of see where some of the hate's coming from. For me, it's two for two, like 50-50. I like it, but there's some decisions in there I just don't agree with. For me, anyways. Episode 1, well, first of all, it was too damn short. So
yeah.
I saw it the day it was released, and yeah, it was just really short. I'm just like, whoa, what? That was it? What? So it felt like the prologue of the first episode, and the second entry in the season, that felt like the official first episode.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true there. I do enjoy the non-linear, because that just story like this kind of just reminds me of things like that I see in like a lot of that I know through a lot of our traditional stories. That
Mm-hmm.
it's not and that's a concept I do with my own films too. Is like you don't go from point A to point B, because that's considered like the standard, if you will. But um, able to go back through time, seeing different things and how they relate to the current time. Like, I don't know. That's a really cool concept, and it's something that we don't quite necessarily see a lot in something like Star Wars.
Right, so first of all, I suppose we should have brought this in the first place, but spoilers. At this point, the show's been out, episode 1's been out for what, 3 weeks now, so what worked for you in episode 1? What did you like?
You know, what worked for me was, I would say, the flashbacks. Like,
Mm,
you know, I agree with you. Like, the first episode was pretty short. I'm just looking at the timestamps on here, and the second episode was way
yeah,
longer than the first one.
yeah, that's true.
um, which I feel like if it's like your first episode of a series, like usually the first episode's the longest one. So yeah, it was quite short, and like the main plot of like the main, like I guess the current time in the series, you know, we didn't quite see a lot of in the first episode, but you know the flashback sequences were actually like really cool. Like I really enjoyed like, you know, him getting out of the Sarlacc pit, and you know there was another stormtrooper in there, you know, just like, you know, slowly, you know, um, freaking disintegrating. Like that was quite the image, and you know him getting out. So and then just his like process, and man, like seeing him out in the freaking sand dunes of Tatooine, like
Hmm.
like it looked like, you know, it was uncomfortable, and like no wonder why he was freaking his skin looked the way it was.
Well, first of all, the visuals, like, was quite the hook. Where the inside of the Sarlacc pit didn't look too appealing. So if you want to watch Boa, try not to eat anything, because again, it was kind of gross looking inside the damn thing. So
it was it was, oh man, but you know those are the things that work with me, and you know him taking on that big ass freaking creature with the shit, it reminded me of like one of those like medieval looking creatures, you know, the ones with like, it had like a weird like body, and
it looked like a centaur.
yeah, yeah, it looked like centaurs, dude. It was so, but him like taking on that was so badass, man. Like, you know,
Yeah,
and that's another thing I've been seeing a lot about like this series too, is people are saying it's not a lot of action, but I mean the action that I've been seeing was actually, it's really badass. Like, you know, something that's, I don't know, it's really cool. Like, I don't know, maybe, you know, and then like going into um, you know, the him like really taking over um what was formerly Jabba's palace, and then you know Bib Fortuna was in there
mm,
for a little bit there, but like him and the dynamics around that, and you know just overall of him trying to, because you're watching his story of being a former bounty hunter, and really like he's facing all these traumas of, you know, like we see flashbacks of him and his dad, you know, especially like, you know, when fucking Mace Windu cut off Django's head, like,
yeah.
you know, because that's really got to mess up, like, you know, yeah, he's a clone of Django Fett, but I mean he was his son though, and you know because you know how Django like like brought him in, was, you know, had him be his son. Um, so yeah, I mean, you know, looking at it, like he has a lot of trauma that he's going through, and you know, he's trying to figure out who he really is, and not just letting people define who he is.
There is a lot of love in there, which I do agree with. You know, like I like seeing Camino like in like today, because you know, aside from Clone Wars, the last time any of us has seen Camino like almost 20 years ago. So it's kind of cool to see like Clone Wars is still canon, even though like Disney did kind of scrap a bunch.
Yeah, yeah, no, I really really love that, man, and that just gets me excited for like future projects, like, you know, like the Ahsoka series and the Obi-Wan series, like, you know, it just, it's nice to know that those, what we've seen before and what, you know, general fan base knows, we're able to see that, right? It's like,
Yeah, I think the problem is Mandalorian set the bar really high, and yeah, so because of
oh
that, people are
man.
holding that standard, and you know, like and which I do agree with. You know, like sometimes like it's not to the same par and level as Mandalorian, but on its own, yes, it has a rocky start. But I'm gonna hold out and give it the benefit of the doubt and give this the future episodes an honest to goodness chance.
Dude, you like, what grinds your gears on the first episode of Boba Fett?
The the fight scene, you know, like Boba, like as a bounty hunter,
Mhm.
you'd think he'd be more ruthless instead of like getting surrounded by a guy with a bunch of shields. I mean, he's got a jetpack for goodness sakes. Just fly up and shoot them down or shoot when you're rockets. Crouch down and use your flamethrower. Like he's got gadgets. So I'm just like, I don't know. The fight scene just seems slow and clunky. But that's just me. Like the sand centaur, the centaur.
The
The
Santa.
Centaur fight, that was fun. I like that. It was really tense. But um, yeah, parkour. I didn't really like the parkour, but that's just me. I think it just didn't seem Star Wars.
That was so out of things. I was like, yeah, yeah. No, that was that was yeah, that did feel out of place.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, yeah, dude, like he had all of his gadgets and stuff, and being surrounded by a group of red guys in tights. I mean, no, I agree on that part. And another, I guess another piece that I would say that you know wasn't. I think it was from this episode. I honestly feel for me what wasn't quite. I guess it was just the length. That was just a really
yeah,
thing for me because I mean I didn't really look before like playing the episode of how long it was, but it really just made me want to watch more. And I don't know. I guess we're just really accustomed. At least for my sake, I'm really accustomed to like the start of a series is a little bit longer, or something in the case of like something that came out recently, like with Peacemaker,
yeah,
um, where they gave you like the first 3 episodes to really like get into it. And I feel like something like Boba Fett, because you're right, like Mandalorian did set a really fucking high
yeah,
bar, and you know, you know this may be something that maybe not a lot of people agree with, but when Mandalorian first came out, I was very
yeah.
skeptical of
Same,
it.
same.
Yeah, right. Because to me, it was like, okay, you're making a show about a bounty hunter, but it's not Boba Fett.
Hmm. Yeah,
But it like that first episode changed my mind completely.
hmm,
But I just feel like his story, just imagine like this different reality here, where we see the same thing play out, maybe something similar from the
yeah.
Mandalorian, but instead of oh man, I'm blanking on his name. Um, uh,
Din.
Din Djarin, yeah.
Yeah,
Instead of him being the main character, imagine if that was Boba Fett.
yeah,
That would be fucking badass. Like,
hmm,
because we would see that. Like, I enjoy where we're at in this series right now. Taking what we're already provided right now, but just imagine like we see some more of his story, like when he was like a legit like bounty hunter. Like something that we were able to see in the Mandalorian, where he's doing all these jobs, and taking on all these people. And just imagine if we had the same structure there, but with Boba Fett. Like that, I think that would have been really, really cool. But I enjoy what we have right now. But yeah, I guess it's the length, and yeah, maybe the time period too. Um, I can tell like what they're doing a lot with Star Wars is like taking on things that happened after Return of the Jedi.
yeah,
Um, because I mean, yeah, that's a long time period to uh, to focus on, and that gives you a ton of leeway. But I don't know, man. It would be cool, like seeing like him and Boba in like let's say his like prime years as a bounty hunter. That would have been cool.
yeah. Like I imagine John Favreau and oh shoot, what's the other guy? What's the other writer's name? Is Noah something? Well, I imagine those two are probably saving that for like future seasons where we're just gonna see Boba in his prime as a bounty hunter, and With that being said, I think there is a bit of an identity crisis with Boba, where just like when you think the original trilogy, Boba, he didn't have many lines. Like he didn't speak that much, and part of his charm was the mystery. You don't know what he's thinking. You don't know what he this cold menace that he just brings upon. And but here he's in the series, he's kind of chatty. So I don't think Boba would be that chatty.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. That's kind of like that's kind of where I'm feeling, where it's like, I mean, relating back to the Mandalorian real quick, like, with Din Djarin, like we didn't really get to know, we didn't see his face until season two,
Yeah.
and even his name, like I can't remember which episode we saw. I can't remember if it was season one or season two where we even actually got his like real name. Um, but imagine like, yeah, like that mystery should have been, slowly like an onion, like slowly like the layers come off instead of like, and that's kind of where I feel like maybe that's just where, you know, the Star Wars Disney's at right now. Of like he's the main character, he has to be, talking all the time. He has to be witty. He has to do this, like, because I mean, Tamara Morrison, like he's a phenomenal freaking actor, man.
He
Like
is.
he like I'm so happy like he's able to reprise his role, because he has like his voice itself just like carries things, and
Mm.
even throughout like when he showed up in episode two as Jango Fett, and playing all the clones, like like he's like even in the original trilogy, like they have his voice dubbed in there, like so it's yeah, I agree. Like he should have had just a bit more mystery, or even just like I don't know, going Mandalorian route where he doesn't really talk much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also do love that Tim. He's totally rocking, and he's really proud of the dad bod. So like he's
Yeah.
not shy to show off any skin. So I just love that.
Oh man, enjoying his age, and and Boba Fett as the character he's talking about, but man, does he look like he's having a lot of fun, man? Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
looks
Like
like he's
despite the issues, like I agree. It looks like he is having a lot of fun. Yeah. Before we get too carried away, what would you rate episode one, the debut episode of Boba Fett?
debut episode. Something I've been doing like a lot with on IMDb. I do the little rating system on there,
Yeah,
and the first episode is a 7.5 out of 10, but
yeah,
I put it at a rating of 8. I'd say it's like it's not to my full like damn that was amazing, but it's kind of like it wasn't too bad. There was a lot of takeaways that I liked. Like yeah, I'm in full agreement. Like the parkour scene, the scene where they were like surrounded with the guys with the shields, like that was one piece that I didn't necessarily like, but overall I was down with it. And yeah, I'd say it was a good like maybe even yeah, maybe a 7.5 is good, but no, I'd say an 8 out of 10 for me.
that's a generous rating for me. I'd say the biggest problem is that Mando did set the bar really high, and because those expectations are high, I am gonna say the first episode was 6 stars for me. There's just a few things that's just been holding back. The length of it was just too short. The fight scene just seemed really clunky. But that being said, despite the flaws, there is still some redeeming qualities in the show. Which, well, first of all, yeah, fans have been asking for a Boba Fett for a long time, and here we are, plus 40 years later, we have him. Like here he is. So that does warrant some kind of celebration. Tim, great performance. His sidekick, oh shit, what's her name? Fennec. Yeah, that was her name. Fennec. I love Tim and I love Boba and Fennec's chemistry. They just seem like a married couple that's just always bickering with each other. So um yeah, so it has its charms, but for me, um, it could have been better. But that's just me.
No, fair enough. Fair enough, man. Yeah, no, thinking about it, I did give it a kind of a generous rating
Well, it's your rating, and at the end of the day, like no one could take it away. At the end of the day, everything's subjective. You know, some people enjoy the sequel trilogy, but most people don't. So,
True, true. Like
and yeah, well, that's absolutely okay. You know, like at the end of the day, it's not hurting anyone. You like what you like. So
exactly. That's a huge thing that I feel good really gets lost in translation with a lot of I don't know, it's just kind of the world we live in today where if you like something, like it. If you see, not the best hate on it, but then, you know, I don't know. When people tear each other like, oh, why do you like this or why do you like this? You know, you're absolutely right. Like film, TV, like it's all subjective, and just to enjoy it. Like I would say, I'm actually a big fan of episode 2, but that's like
ooh,
one of the
yes.
hated ones.
What?
it's
People hate it? What?
yeah. I mean, I see so many people. People always say like that's like the worst one out of the prequel trilogy. I thought it was episode 1, but I guess nowadays that doesn't get too much hate. But a lot of people don't like episode 2.
Okay. You lost me there. I thought you were talking about like episode two of the Boba. I was like, what?
Oh no,
So,
the
okay, we're talking
prequel
about Attack of the
Attack of the
Clones. Okay,
Clones.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So, like nostalgia is a very powerful thing. Of course, when you're a kid and you see these clones and battle droids, and like of course, like it will capture your imagination. So, I enjoyed the prequel trilogy at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. It gives what we have today,
Yeah.
and it's
Uh,
get to see
yeah.
more of it. The best thing that
Yeah.
came out of the prequel trilogy was Ewan McGregor.
No, absolutely. I can't wait for Kenobi, which is already out this year. That's hard to believe.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward
No,
to
me
that.
too. I'll be cautiously optimistic because it was delayed, and a big part of it could be because of the pandemic. But I also heard there was some major creative differences between Kathleen Kennedy and the writers of the show. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give it an honest to goodness chance. I just hope they don't fuck it up because Obi-Wan is like one of the most celebrated Jedi's, right next to Yoda and Luke Skywalker.
Oh, dude, he's up there like with I would say like a fan base of like he's up there with like if someone if there is a Star Wars character just as wanting to see them more on like a TV or a movie like Boba Fett, it is Obi
Yeah,
Wan Kenobi. Like one of the
absolutely.
most like yeah like I remember even playing as a kid like you know um, playing like Star Wars like on the playground or something like one of my best friends at the time like you know he chose Anakin but I wanted to be Obi Wan like
Yeah.
he was my number one like Jedi ever even like in the OG
Mm-hmm.
trilogy like he was like the number one so I hope I yeah I'm in the same boat I really hope they don't screw this up.
Yeah, like Mando already set the bar pretty high, but everyone loves Kenobi.
Mm,
Even in Clone Wars, like I love Obi Wan in that show. Like he's so witty and he's always so snarky, just like
oh, I
a
love
little
the
different
Clone
from the
Wars.
standard Jedi's, where they're like always so calm and collected. And then there's
Mhm.
Obi Wan that just talks mad shit to everyone.
Oh man, I know he's on the borderline. That's why that's because he had a freaking badass master himself, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah. Episode 2 of Boba Fett. Overall, what are your thoughts?
The tribes of Tatooine. Oh man, dude. Okay, episode 2 what is right now by far my favorite episode.
Mm.
It is just freaking. I don't know. I really freaking loved it. Like we get it like because Boba is into like he's captured by the the Tuscans, and in this episode we get to see him more in with the Tuscan Raiders, and him exploring, of helping them out, because like there's this like train that goes by and is shooting up all the Tuscans, and Boba goes and tries to help them,
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed it, and him going on his towards the end of the episode going on a uh, on a vision quest,
Yeah.
and dude, I thought that was freaking badass. Like in him with like him getting the staff that the Tuscans use.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, man.
Hmm.
It brought so much, like, I don't know, just thinking of it hit a whole new layer for me of not only the Tuscans as showing them as being like an indigenous tribe,
Yeah.
in a way, but also like implementing like more of Boba really uh, healing from his own trauma.
Hmm.
And yeah, dude, I really enjoyed this episode. Like that train sequence too was really cool to me.
Episode 2 had a lot going on, and once again, like this whole thing here should have been episode 1. Um,
Yeah.
but that, yeah, there's a lot going on. Like the really slimy Twi'lek that's working with the mayor. Like he's always consistent in like he's just got a punchable face. Like I just want either Fennec or Boba to like smack one of his tail heads.
The orange guy.
Yeah, him. So
Yeah. Oh, I know, man.
and yeah, like touching base on the Tuscans, it's a really bold choice to give more layers and personality to the Tuscan Raiders when again, like 40 years ago, when you first think like Tuscans, they're just these nasty bastards that just like to steal shit from people, and like sand gangsters and shit like that. But it wasn't until this show where they just like show that they are like they're just out here just trying to survive. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a whole like a full layer of them, and totally different than seeing someone like Anakin Skywalker just like slaughtering them all.
I'm probably not gonna look at that scene the same after
Yeah.
this. So
No shit. Oh man, but you're right though. It's like I remember as a kid like watching A New Hope, and that scene where Luke gets attacked by one of the Tuscans. Like, dude, that was a scary ass scene
it
for me
is.
when I was a
It is.
kid. Dude, still to this day is like fucking scary. Like, this is like their war cry and everything. It's just, yeah, it's but able to see more dynamics of how they are as a tribe, and even like through the dialogue, like something that I'm really find interesting is like how a lot of the characters are talking about that Tatooine used to have water on,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that really interesting, and like that the Tuscans and the Jawas are like new creatures, like in the Star Wars like universe. Are kind of like newer, um, these like newer, but anyways, like that they're just primarily there from when the waters ran out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I do remember reading a little bit about Tatooine. If I anyone who's listening, correct me if I'm wrong here. I could be just talking on my ass. It's been a while since I read up on Tatooine's lore. So, from what I understand, Tatooine was just mined to hell with all resources, and because of it used to be like rich in vegetation and other resources, but because of corporations just just taking advantage of the planet. It just, you know, basically killed it to the point where, yeah, it's literally just sand and, you know, dirty, grimy place. So it's more of a cautionary tale of, and possibly a dark reflection of our own world here.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's kind of, you know, in that's kind of the mindset I've been looking at, like through the Tuscans of, going back to, because like if you look at Boba Fett, it's kind of like a almost like a western, like
Yeah,
like a futuristic western. So, like in a lot of those western movies where it was like cowboys versus the Indians,
yeah.
and that's looking at how us as indigenous people were portrayed in those movies were kind of. I mean, I see a lot of similarities with the Tuscans.
No, like it's clear that where John's inspiration is coming from for the Tuscans, and you're absolutely right. They are being consistent with the Western feel because Mando had that same consistency. Where, example, one of the episodes in Mando where oh sorry, Din, negotiating with the Jawas, and just the way the whole presentation is, it looks like the cowboy is talking to the Indians. So I'm just like, but I also have to applaud John for like shedding some light with that. I can already see some arguments of there's a lot of cultural appropriation there, but in this case, I don't feel that.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely taken a piece of that, and that's why I kind of feel like that it's not really said or anything like through. Like, I haven't seen really much of people really relating that, but I mean, just being you know indigenous and seeing how just relating to certain things, like
Mm-hmm.
you can see the similarities, and I don't know, yeah, it is pretty clear. um but yeah, nothing too wrong or anything about it.
Yeah. So once again, John, I think he's well. First of all, I think he's one of the saviors of Star Wars because
Oh, yeah.
along with Dave Filoni, like those two, like they they spawn new life and new passion for Star Wars. Because before those two came along, I was just like, I was at a point where I'm just like, okay, Disney clearly doesn't care about Star Wars, so why should I? So,
Yeah, I mean, in all of it, I mean, they should really get rid of what's her name? Kath,
Kathleen Kennedy.
Kath, yeah, yeah.
Well, that's not the case because they renewed her contract and she's got 3 more years. So,
Oh my.
at the end of the day, she brings in numbers, and I'm pretty sure that's all Disney cares about is the numbers. They don't care about what we think. So,
Yeah, no, that's true, man. They can literally give you um, a shit sandwich, and people will still go out and buy it, and it'll be the number one top build,
yeah,
making billions and billions of dollars, and
yeah,
you'll be
yeah.
seeing multiple sequels.
I do fear the future of Star Wars. I do fear that, in the same vein as Marvel fatigue, I'm a little worried that I'm going to be Star Wars fatigue. So, um,
Yeah, I feel like if you keep bringing in like like when they brought on Taika Waititi for the Mandalorian.
yeah,
Oh, dude, that was such a fresh, like, because he did a couple of the episodes in,
he
in
did.
there, dude.
I think he's doing. He's. I could be wrong. I think he's going to be directing a episode for Boba Fett as well. We already know it's going to be funny. It's going to be a fun ride, whatever it is he presents. I am excited for his movie that he's been greenlit to do. So there's no details on it yet, but I'm already excited for it.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember reading something along those lines, but yeah, getting some like fresh talent in these, because I love like John Favreau. Like, yeah, I mean, he's definitely changed and like added like some really good things to Star Wars. Um, but if you continuously like, you need to keep adding more, more really good um, creators out there who are not only fans but overall really good storytellers
Hmm.
and who really seek like really good visions on this. And I feel like that's something that um, you know a corporation, company like Disney. I mean, I remember seeing so many different videos and different reading up on things that they don't really give much creative to their writers through their directors, unless there's someone like a John Favreau or someone like oh, what's his name who did Force Awakens and
That
um,
was J.J. Abrams.
Abrams.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're someone like Abrams or a Favreau, like where you have a track record with them of making them tons of money. Um, even like directors like the Russo brothers, for Marvel,
Hmm.
if they see like, okay, you can make us a lot of money, we'll give you a little bit of leeway. But
Yeah.
newer directors where you can kind of tell, like, I mean,
They're more puppets, unfortunately.
more puppets. And look at something like
The
I didn't quite mind it, but like the solo Han Solo series,
ooh,
Han Solo
yeah,
movie,
ooh.
where that
Yeah,
had the potential of being something great. But
yeah, yeah. A big example of that is Mark. Ironically enough, Mark Webb, who was the director of the Amazing Spider-Man series, and because he is a new director, he has no reputation. I can already tell, like, again, he was just a pawn to, try to make this movie. So, but no, it is kind of sad that there is no like long gone are the days that directors have final say in, well, I do have final say in their movies. Now it is a collaborative effort, which it really should be at the end of the day. But producers will always pull the client route of the client card, where like, I have the money, I'm making this movie, so because of this, I have the final say. Yeah, it is kind of sad. Um, but
isn't that, that's something. If producers and executives want to make the money, you let the directors, you let the writers, you let the filmmakers do what they professionalize in.
yeah, trust in
It's
the
something
creatives. We know what we're doing. So
exactly, dude. And it sounds it it's making something that shouldn't be complicated complicated.
yeah,
And that just you're and especially when you take on a series like Star Wars, where that's you're 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 just you're the only people you're really hurting in this situation is the fans,
yeah,
the ones who dedicate so much time, so much years, so much money. Like that's the big one is you need to, yeah, we live in such a materialistic world where it's all about the money,
mm-hmm.
but you know overall, you know like Star Wars at this point is something that's almost like religious to a lot of people out there,
Yeah,
and you know really like putting in that good time, putting in that good effort to really bring it in for those who been year long fans. I mean, like, yeah, we're talking about nostalgia, but like, the Star Wars was one of the first movies like I was always watching as a kid, and that really inspired me to be a filmmaker.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it's a rite of passage for every parent to show their offsprings, Star Wars. So I'm pretty sure when I
Yeah.
become a parent, I'm gonna show my children Star Wars just the same like my parents did.
Well, hell yeah, man. My little brother who's 10 years younger than me, his favorite movie was A New Hope.
Yeah,
Like, and that's something that, is special to have movies like, a whole series that's like that, inspired like generations. Like, you gotta put some good respect to that.
yeah,
So, and that's something that I feel is, we were able to get a little bit of that in this second episode here.
yeah. No, they did a lot right here, and oh shoot, who was the director of this one? that was a Steph Green. I don't know. That's a new name to me. But either way, yeah, you're right. I
Seth
do
Green.
agree. So,
Seth Green.
oh no, 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 Steph Green.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be
Steph
hilarious.
Green.
If Seth Green like directed this, like what? They got fucking robot chicken guy to come in and do the shit. So
That'd be pretty cool.
that'd be
Oh
hilarious.
yeah, no, they she looked like she did like Watchmen, which I have not seen the series yet, but she's done a lot of TV series.
Hmm. Yeah. The chase scene with the trains and the beginning with the biker gang, like, Boba in the bar fight scene. That was probably the most Boba we've seen. Like where he's just straight up does not care what you think. He's gonna body you and he's gonna floor you. So
That's true. That's true. And the Cantina place too. I was like looking at watching some videos and stuff that and those two characters in there were actually originally in the A New Hope as well. You can like deleted scene or something like that.
oh I had no idea. Um,
Yeah, yeah, they're supposed to be like OG the OG series.
oh wow,
Yeah, a
that's
little
good to know.
homage there.
The plots, you could tell there's a grander scheme in this show because they're just giving you crumbs as everything comes along. Like, clearly there's a power struggle, but at this point, we're not exactly sure who is, like, orchestrating everything. Like, everyone is kind of a pawn. So, like, and thus, Jabba's cousins come along, which they had a cool entrance. I do like the Huts. They're just hilarious. They're just straight up gangsters. So,
They are. Oh man.
and
And the
they didn't care. Like they wandered the streets like with no armed guard except for one roided out Chewbacca, a Wookiee. So
oh man, which looks like he looks like a badass man.
he does like he is from the extended lore. I,
Chrysanthemum.
yeah, him. So he is. But he does look badass. He does look. First of all, he's fucking huge. I didn't. When I first saw him, I'm like, dude, you make Chewbacca look like a fucking Ewok. So
Oh man, imagine if those two went out of it. Oh my goodness.
it'd be hilarious if it was just like this. Instead of this giant Wookiee, it should have been this Ewok that just popped around the corner. So
Oh,
like it'd be the most
roided,
out of place bounty hunter ever. So
roided out Ewok. Through his because this takes place after Return of the Jedi, so he's all got his battle scars and shit.
and he's got like like some tribes, they have skulls on the back of their um as decorations instead of like skulls. It'll be like stormtrooper helmets.
Oh man. Oh shit,
It'll be like
imagine
the most
that.
comical bounty hunter ever.
Oh my goodness. Those little fuckers, I would actually be pretty down to see it in something.
Um, I'm not sure how well that will work because they tried to do a cartoon series like way the shit back in the 80s or 90s where I don't think it did well. Like
Yeah,
it had like 20 episodes, but it was canceled right away. So
true, true. Just like or like give them like a darker take.
there is a darker take. Like they actually ate the stormtroopers.
I where did I see that? I feel like I saw that somewhere. Okay, well, that must have been like on a episode of like Robot Chicken or something. I
Yeah,
remember seeing something like that. Like they're like fucking cannibal little things.
yeah, they're nasty little buggers. So yeah, episode two. And you're right. The scene where Boba gets a vision quest, which the intro to that was hilarious. Where he's like, "Oh, a lizard, thank you. I don't know what to do with it, but thank you." And then this little shit just crawled right into his nose. I was not expecting that whatsoever.
Oh, dude, that was so gross.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, oh, I'm sorry. I think I swallowed it." So,
Oh man, yeah, that was really good. That was the one thing I do like is I'm finding interesting too is like you know because Boba is now in this like place of like running things, you know, and when people see him around just casually just like walking, and people are asking like, oh, where's your, I forgot what they called it, but it was the same one that the huts were using,
yeah,
carriage way, you
yeah,
know. It just shows too, like, and that's something that just one of his lines, like I'm remembering from episode one, where he wants to run things like, with respect.
yeah. Which I think it will be his downfall.
Yeah, honestly, it could be, man. It could be because I mean, you go into something like, especially a planet like Tatooine, where you know people just blast each other like no tomorrow. Like, it truly is the Wild West in
Hmm.
that on that planet.
Yeah, they're rough people. And the background characters too. There's always such personality with this grittiness, which I'm glad they are reintroducing because unfortunately the prequels did start something with everything was being shiny and new, and when I think Star Wars, I don't think it's shiny and new. It's just this grit in this really dirty, grimy place. Yeah, I can't think of too many critiques about episode 2. I enjoyed it. Yeah, so again, there's a lot going on here. I enjoy this one far better than episode 2. So, because of how much I liked it, and, just there's just a lot of swagger in this episode. So, I'm going to give it a fair number 7.5.
7.5
Yeah.
sounds pretty fair enough. I would, for me, I would give it. I have it in at a 9 out of 10.
My goodness. It's got the badass seal right there.
Sometimes I feel like I'm too generous to film and TV.
Yeah. No, no, no. It creates a dynamic here where you're this fountain of positivity, and then I'm just kind of a little more critical.
You're the brute. You know what we were joking about when we were on a phone call. What was that, last week?
Oh, I'm Jay
And
Jonas.
yeah,
I give this series 7.5 out of 5. So
like
just
crap,
growl my
crap.
way through this review.
Oh man, that's a good way of looking at it. No, but the reason why I'm giving it a 9 is honestly, it's like we're primarily, like, majority of the scene is a flashback sequence.
Yeah.
Um, but I just feel like there were some strong takeaways. I'm in full agreement. Like, this should have been, like, if episode one and episode two were together, like an amalgam of like just one full episode. The second episode's like 50 minutes long,
Yeah.
and the first one's like 38 or something. You have that like a full, almost like hour and a half of a first episode. That would have been
Hmm.
pretty solid. I
No,
mean,
I
it would
agree.
have, yeah, it would have had a bit more to chew on for a first episode and be something to really drag people. We were able to see something going on, and able to, left at the end with like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? You got Chrysanthemum there, you got the huts, like, you're trying to figure out like, where is this gonna be going? You see more of that Boba's like officially in with the Tuscans towards the
Hmm.
end. Like, there's just so much going on that I feel like, yeah, if it was the first episode, that would have been gold and Pony Boy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Just a
So,
goat in.
well, that wraps up episode 2. Jesus. Okay, so episode 3. Here we go.
Man, we should have
um.
went. We should have went vice versa. We should have went 1, 3, and then 2.
Well, I heard 4 was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, viewers out there, what we're going to do is we're going to review 4 and 5, and after that we should be caught up. So right now we're just kind of playing catch up. We'll just blame the holidays here. So,
Yeah.
but anyways,
Damn holidays.
yeah. Episode 3. Here we go. I'll start it off. I
Please
did
do.
not like episode 3. I thought this was the worst one of the bunch. The elephant in the room, the Space Power Rangers, they are so out of place. They do not look like they are from Star Wars. It just feels like they're from a different universe, a different galaxy. So there's just some conflicting personalities going on in the concepts in this episode.
Dude, what is this? Fucking Star Trek? No, I'm just kidding.
No, it didn't look like Star Trek, except like but
I was
which in
just
this
kidding.
case, like,
Fellow Star Trek lovers. I'm sorry, that was a bad jab.
we probably lost like 2 subscribers right there. Whoever's fan of Star Trek, I can already see in the comments, Star Trek is better than Star Wars. Like, this group with their cute little shiny mopeds is the worst. I'm like, who and why would someone approve of this? So,
Trying to bring young viewers in, I guess. I mean, we talk about we were talking about earlier, like there should be some like dullness and some like, like grit, almost like, some like rundown stuff. And especially if those like this like gang is supposed to be like takes pieces of droids,
yeah,
and when they were talking about droids, I thought like the droids from
the
the
separatists.
prequels. Yeah, the separatist droids.
Yeah,
And then I was like, oh shit, yeah, and they gotta have some like rust to them or something.
yeah,
But no, they're all like shiny, they're all colorful, and I was like, it did just like the parkour scene in episode 1. It's not really necessary.
no, it's not. Like we were just talking about this in episode 2. Like in a lawless planet where anyone's fair game, like episode 4 with New Hope, where you see 2 people, well, one person's maimed and one person's shot. They didn't bat a fucking eyelash. So by that logic, the moped gang with their shiny shit, well, you know what? Shiny shit means it's gonna be expensive. So why hasn't anyone gunned these kids down?
Yeah, and especially if they're not working, like how'd they get all this?
Yeah, like, yeah, man, what the hell? So,
You live on a planet that's like fucking all rust and shit. Like, I mean, if they were introduced and they were like rusty and like they were like, we're a little bit more grizzled, maybe it'd be like a different perspective. But I mean, like the fact that they look like some like Power Rangers from the Power Ranger universe. I mean, dude, maybe this is the overall story is that there's more to it. Maybe they're from, because like the galaxy of Star Wars is so far, far away that maybe it's like something else there.
yeah, like even like I like the buildup of them. Like when what's his dick showed up and said, "These abominations just stole from me. They need to be stopped, and they're deadly, and X, Y, Z." And just like, holy hell, what are these guys? And then when I take one look at them, they're the cringiest. Even the presentation is just, it's so cringy. They're just being really edgy and cool. Like, back off, Gramps. We're above you. I'm like, oh my god. Boba, burn them, alright? Just burn them.
Oh man,
The Gamorrean guard is more threatening than these kids.
They are.
And they're just using a little baby dick machete and that's it. So,
dude, Stephen Root, he's such a good actor. Like he hyped them up to the max. Like I was expecting like some fucking like hardcore looking people, and they just end up being like fucking little punk kids. Like,
Like Steven
uh,
should have said, and furthermore, they took my stapler.
yeah.
So,
Oh man. Oh man. Hit me with the dodgeball.
but oh jeez. Okay, so
Dude,
this
this episode was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
and
He
it
also
kind of
directed.
shows.
Oh man, he directed the first episode too. Like that
Like
makes
right now,
two
it's
and
just
oh.
showing his incompetence. Like, no, like I agree that yeah, he's still got some good work with him. You know, like Alita, Battle Angel, and even Sin City One. So yeah, there is something there. But the problem here is, I think he just got too much creative say in these episodes.
Maybe that's the backfire of having too much creative.
We were just talking about that, and here we are. We're just contradicting ourselves. So
Oh man, enough, dude. I'm in full agreement. Like the streets of Mos Espa, like episode 3 was, by far it wasn't a good, it wasn't a good episode.
no, it wasn't. The chase scene was just it was
That was
slow. It was pathetic.
that was out of place too, man. Like, what was that? Like, I mean, I did like the inclusion of, I don't know. There's a brief shot where they break through a uh, Jabba the Hutt, one of like a painting that's made of him that
Oh yeah,
actually is like a still from Return of the Jedi.
yeah,
Um, I thought that was pretty funny, but yeah, that was so out of place. I mean, it was. I mean, don't these guys have like guns and stuff? Like, why don't they just shoot his fucking, his vehicle down? It just felt like it was really just filler. Have
yeah.
Finnick
Even though
just snipe the guy out.
no, exactly. Like again, like Boba. Like I'm not sure if it's just like he's just really low on fuel with his jetpack, and that's why he doesn't want to use it, or but I'm pretty sure his jetpack goes faster than that moped and that really broken down speeder. So I'm just like, I'm just like, why? But anyways, there is some redeeming qualities here. My man Danny Trejo is back, so he's always a welcome addition in my books. I do love Danny.
Yeah, that was probably one of my one a cool part there was the Rancor one. Yeah, and bringing Danny in, man. I mean, he's long term collaborators with Robert Rodriguez. So, I mean, it was just like inevitable to like see him in there. I was seeing some funny memes on because the third Machete movie that was supposed to come out was
Yeah.
about him in space. So
Uh,
I was like seeing things like that. That could be him. Oh man, imagine that.
Plot
Um,
twist: they named the Rancor Machete.
oh man, to me that was probably like the only like now they have a Rancor in their palace now. So I mean that's pretty cool. And the fact like Boba he's like he's an animal whisperer, man. Yeah, I mean he got some good vibes. That was another meme too I saw of Din Djarin with these like space creatures, and then how he's always like running away and trying to shoot them. And then
Yeah,
there's Boba who's just like hugging them and giving them food and scratching them and stuff.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Like I heard some people didn't really like the idea of Boba riding a Rancor, which it could be seen as like just a little too campy, like Jar Jar level campy. I won't know until I see it. Right now, I'm indifferent to the concept.
I think honestly, I think that's gonna make him like badass, man. Like, and if as long as he's not like it's not slow and stuff, but I mean it's slow ish. Like when he said he wants to write it, I looked at it. I was like, oh shit. Like we were talking about like those like the huts on those carriages and stuff, and everyone asked him like, oh, how come you're not riding on your thing? But that's like a huge flex if he's just like walking in with a rancor that everyone's fucking afraid of.
Yeah,
And he's on his like he tamed this beast. And you like no one's gonna fuck with him if he's walking around town with that thing. And I don't know, yeah, we're not gonna know until we see it. I mean,
yeah,
the talk of it, like of him saying it, I mean, to me that sounds pretty cool.
yeah,
Um, it just hopefully it's executed well. Uh, but yeah, I mean, just the thought of that, I mean, that'd be it'd be something else, something else that we haven't seen. But as long as he's not like, yeah, just
yeah.
yippee ki yay,
um, episode 3. There wasn't much to talk about anyway. For the most part, it is the worst one. Even the fight scene with Cranston, yeah, Cranston and Boba, even that looked really sloppy, and
Oh, it
there was just,
did.
yeah, there's just a lot of other opportunities where I thought Boba could have had the upper hand, and even this giant Wookiee, but no, it's just I just don't think Robert really knows how to direct an action scene. So
Which is weird because that's what he's like really known for. Maybe I just I don't quite get it. And I'm trying to take this like, yeah, Chris Anton's like a bounty hunter and stuff. But I mean, how the hell did he get like? How the hell do you miss a giant ass Wookiee?
yeah,
And he knew exactly where Boba was. And Boba just hired these freaking Goonies, like and how did he get past all of them? It just didn't make any sense.
no, the logic was just thrown right out the window, and once again, the Power Ranger kids. I'm just gonna call them the Moped Gang. Um, so the Moped Gang. Again, there was a lot of buildup for them, and just to see that, like, well, you know what? They couldn't even even Mister I there with this giant monocle. He didn't see anything. Are you kidding me? So
Hey, you guys are droids. I mean, did you guys? Well, you're half droids. Then you guys like feel something. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that was weird and like, yeah, it just didn't make any sense. I mean, is somebody like Loki like in the palace like fucking over Boba? Like, is this how did he know? I mean,
yeah,
Finnick wasn't around, so in theory, maybe she's trying
ooh,
to low key take over.
maybe,
But I don't know, man. Like it's just like I don't know. That was just, yeah, by far. I mean, yeah, there wasn't really much to go on. I mean, if you haven't yet watched it, I mean, if you want, go ahead. But I mean, it's honestly an episode where you don't really need to watch.
yeah. Final rating for episode 3. I'm giving it a 4. They they dropped the ball. So
Yeah, yeah. My give it a 5.
yeah, yeah. So
I mean, for me, that's a pretty low rating.
yeah, no, like there's just too much. There's too much going against it, and like there's these really highs and lows going on in this series. It's just it's not to the same caliber as Mando, unfortunately. But I've already invested this much time into it. I'm not going to give up on it. If I manage to sit through the sequels, I'm just going to a sequel trilogy rather. I am going to continue with this series. But if there's gonna be more episodes like this where I'm just like, what the hell are you guys doing, man? I'm just gonna be like, I'm probably gonna tap out on season 2. So
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, we're getting like halfway done with season one, so I mean, hopefully there's some good things that are become like coming our way.
yeah,
But yeah, hopefully, they're starting rough, but hopefully they can end strong. So we're looking forward to that.
yeah. Before we do wrap up this episode, um, well, this episode doesn't make the cut. Um, I have a prediction that I think the true big bad It's not the Pikes. It's not the Hutts. It'll in fact be Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah, because doesn't he have uh, like a gang of his own?
Yeah.
What was that called? Crimson Dawn. I believe that's the name of it. I remember seeing that. Remember in the Han Solo movie
Oh
at
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
end
yeah.
with Kira. Oh, dude, imagine that. Oh man,
Like if that's the full reveal, then it'll be like, okay, it was worth the ups and downs because yeah, Boba's going to go head to head with Darth Maul.
that that would be crazy.
Yeah, and I think the overall arc for Boba is right now he's trying to do the I'm gonna rule with respect, but he's gonna see that no one's going to really care, so he's gonna go back to his old ways as a ruthless bounty hunter and just gun motherfuckers down. So
Maybe he's trying to rule in like a Godfather type of way, Marlon Brando one. He was a badass, and then now he's like as he's getting older, he's kind of like just peace.
yeah, no, it's a one of the morning guards is gonna die. He's gonna be like, look how they massacred my boy. So
Oh man, he's gonna get gunned down when he's like trying to buy some oranges.
yeah, yeah, he's gonna put an orange in his mouth. And he's gonna play with some random kid on the streets. So
A little Jawa.
yeah, little Jawas. No, 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 one of those
Oh
droids, one of
man.
those mechanic droids.
Oh man. Oh shit. Okay, before we end this,
Yeah,
you know what would be the best fucking reveal though at the end?
what's that?
Like Maul would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
But what would become more full circle than a one-on-one with Boba Fett and a surviving Mace Windu?
that'd be
Because in like you know I know I remember seeing that Mace Windu did survive. I mean, I don't know if it's like currently canon, this current iteration of Star Wars, but I mean, come on, like, that would be something else.
I'm not against it, but I'm trying to figure out what would be Mace's what's his motive because I don't see Mace telling Pikes to sell spice, so or even like slaughtering a tribe of Tuscans.
I think it would be more on the lines of the other way around. I think that somehow Boba and Mace like cross paths, and because Mace probably he doesn't have his arm,
Yeah,
and Sam Jackson is around the age now where he can play an older Windu who's just trying to survive.
yeah,
It's Boba who recognizes him and automatically like remembers what he did to his dad, and is like, ooh, and that just like flips a switch in Boba, and he just like all the respect just goes out the window, and he just wants to go on a rampage against Windu, who's already had like a changed perspective of, he sees what happened to the Jedi, and he's just trying to figure out what is next for him.
right,
I don't know.
right.
That's like this is a big theory, but I mean that would be something I don't know, pretty interesting to play with because I mean if they're already going back with seeing how Boba is trying to deal with losing his dad, I mean what better way than to go against the person who took away his dad in the first place?
No, I could kind of see that, like kind of like the Ronin coming in to save the day, but just to find out that the Ronin is facing his past. So
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
yeah, so it can go either way. Yeah, there's more emotional impact with Mace Windu, and he could have survived. We have no idea. Um, or you know, either way, like regardless of which reveal it will be, I am. I just hope that the payoff would be worth the build up that's going on right now.
That's for sure. One can only hope.
Yeah,
Only time will tell.
yeah. Just in what 3 weeks now? 3 weeks we'll know.
Oh yeah, man. Man, yeah, I gotta say, the one thing I really enjoy the Disney schedule. I remember we were talking about it a while back of like, do we prefer like the whole series coming out in once, like what something Netflix does,
Yeah,
or like a weekly thing? And I've been really enjoying the weekly thing of like, all right, you know what today is? Today's Wednesday. Time to watch Boba Fett, or when it's Mando, or even the Marvel series coming out. It's been nice because it gives something to look forward to in a week.
yeah. No, I agree. It is a little return to form to TV series where like, yeah, um, you will have to be patient, and part of the fun of being patient is the anticipation of the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So, well, anyways, unfortunately, that is all the time we have. So those of you who are still here for the past hour and 20 minutes, thank you for thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. If you feel like it, give us a like, comment, subscribe. Do you agree with us? Do you think we're idiots and that episode 3 is the greatest thing? Let us know.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all for giving us a watch on our comeback of doesn't make the cuts. We're looking at making this in a weekly. I'm gonna try doing it a weekly
Yeah.
series, and like I said, in the beginning of bringing on some special guests here and there. But yeah, so today, this was the first reviewing the first 3 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
And many more to come. Also, I do like the theme song.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Right up there with the Mandalorian theme song.
Yeah, not as good as Mando, but I still like it. This one. This one's growing on me.
It is. It really is.
Yeah,
So yeah, definitely let us know your comments on what you think of the Book of Boba Fett so far, and yeah, drop some theories down of where you think the series is gonna go.